Hi, I'm Claire from People Passion and I work here as an HR partner. I'm here this afternoon with Lara, the Director of People Passion, and we are going to talk about Christmas. So with Christmas just around the corner, we know that it can be a really joyful time of year, but it can also be a really stressful time of year for employers and employees. And we just thought we would ask Lara a few common questions that come as part of going through the festive season.
Fantastic. Thank you, Claire.
Okay, so the first question I've got for Lara is that all workplaces have Christmas dues and they are something that all employees look forward to during the year. As an employer, am I liable for any inappropriate behaviour at social functions?
Look, you are liable, especially from the Health and Safety Act perspective. So it's really being mindful that you have got your policies in place and that you're being sensible in regard to the type of Christmas function you're arranging. So making sure that if you are having a function that does involve alcohol, that you are providing your team with a limit of how many drinks they can have, so maybe having like a token type system, so it's not enabling that behaviour to occur that could get us all into a bit of trouble. It's just being sensible.
The lead up to Christmas can be really stressful. How can we make sure that we help support them during the Christmas period and minimise any risks of disagreement and staff conflict as we lead up to Christmas Day?
Yeah, look, it is a really busy time, and at times busyness can come with being stressed from an employer and an employee perspective. And look, communication is vital, and also having a bit of fun and excitement and maybe a Christmas countdown, and everyone knows what the deadlines are leading up to that Christmas shutdown period. So communication is key, and also just observing employees, and if you do notice that there's been an increase in absenteeism or timekeeping concerns, having those conversations with that employee so you're actually jumping on those concerns straight away.
That's great. How can we make sure that we maintain productivity? It can be really easy for us as we head into December and the weather's a lot nicer that we get into holiday mode a lot sooner than we should do.
Yeah, look, as a team, you've also got deadlines that you need to achieve, so it's making sure that you're going to be able to achieve those deadlines. But I do encourage a bit of fun, and that you do change it up during that season. So if you're normally having meetings sitting around a boardroom table, that you maybe consider a stand-up meeting, walking around the block, or communicating a little bit different than what you normally do, but still bringing your Christmas cake and your Christmas treats and things.
That's great. Okay, so the next two questions that I'm going to be asking Lara are probably two very common questions that you would face as we work through December. The first one is help. My employees have turned up from a supplier function and I'm pretty sure they haven't been home and they're still carrying on the festivities. What do I do?
Great, they've had a good night, haven't they? Okay, really important that you have a chat with them, say to them, hey, what's going on? Notice that I can smell the alcohol on your breath, or you seem to be a bit overly merry today. So pop them in a taxi, you're going to pay the tab on that and send them home and get them back in the next day and have a chat with them and just understand why this behaviour has occurred and that it's not part of your company culture. If you decide that this is common, that they'll do it again, the next supplier function will then look at going down a formal performance management track.
And lastly, Lara, what tips do you have for employers out there about managing those holiday leave requests?
Have a look at the holiday leave policy that you've got in place. And by now you should be starting to get those leave requests from your team, so making sure that the leave forms are being filled out, that you're approving them, or possibly you might not be approving them, and if you're not, you need to be having a conversation with your people and making sure you've got a clear calendar and a clear communication plan in place for who's working, who's not. You also need to make sure that you give the employee 14 days notice if you need them to work through that period. And look, you may have a shutdown. So making sure that you're giving your customers and suppliers that notification as well. Usually by now we're putting it on the bottom of pay slips, and also invoices when we're sending them out if we have got shutdowns. But get it happening. Get your leave happening out there.
Well, thanks for that, Lara. Before we wrap this up, is there anything else you would like to share with employers, things to keep in mind as we head into the Christmas season?
Thanks, Claire. Look, I understand that majority of employers now would have booked their Christmas party or function and it's all sorted. However, I encourage them to consider maybe something a little bit different for next year's. And it can be a team building event. Make sure you've got a bit of secret Santa, so there's a bit of gift giving in there. The event doesn't need to involve alcohol. If it does, please make sure that you are providing a meal or finger food or something, and you've got that support, and you've checked out your policies.
Yes.
Yeah, making sure that they're ready to go and your team are aware of those policies, especially if there's company vehicles involved. But thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.